obligatory joke about Mario Kart 8 never dying. I mean, I had to do it. Like, if you turn the 8 around, it's an infinite symbol. They know this game will never die. They're just torturing us.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Yeah, this wasn't really expected, especially so long after the Switch's launch. Like, people are expecting DLC for Deluxe to come out from, like, 2017, 2019.
It's definitely not 2023, and we're just getting it now.
Like, sure, 8 Deluxe had some new content, like Battle Mode, Inkling.
Huh. The list ends there.
I mean, all it had to be was Mario Kart 8 on Switch. We were lucky to get anything, and we just assumed, hey, this game will keep selling, definitely will happen, and eventually we'll just get Mario Kart 9. Heck, there were rumors floating around early 2022 that Mario Kart 9 was coming and had some fun new twist. And by the way, I wasn't lying when I said Mario Kart 8 was still selling, because, like, look at this number. This is my reaction when I saw it.
Oh my god! This milk is expired! Pretty big number, though.
But that's when the February 2022 Nintendo Direct came around, and it announced Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass DLC. It brings back older, beloved tracks and tracks from Mario Kart Tour. Yeah, this is pretty cool, but people were kind of annoyed that it wasn't in fact Mario Kart 9. But I guess Nintendo kind of wants to keep riding the Mario Kart 8 success wave. Like, fun fact, this is literally the best-selling Mario Kart game. Like, what? Some news came out that these tracks were based off their tour versions, and the graphics shown weren't all too pleasing to people. And, like, look at the grass. Like, I know nothing about game design, but I can do that in 5 seconds. Yeah, it's obvious it takes a way different art style, with it being more cartoonish rather than the realism of the base game's tracks, which isn't terribly bad, but come on, what the frick is this grass? But regardless, today, we're discussing the first 3 waves of DLC and seeing what tracks are winners and which ones kind of blow.
Spoiler: Drew hates Sky Gardens.
How do you already know?
Because every time you play it, you yell about how bad it is.
Curse my loud way of expressing distaste.
Well, anyway, starting this DLC and the first couple Wave 1 is Paris Promenade. This one is actually pretty cool. The feeling of driving through a street in Paris and literally flying through the Eiffel Tower, and in the last lap you going backwards, is really cool. And this is probably the best graphically. Like, yeah, you can see the differences in art style, but it just bodes well here. And we've already made the bar so high, we've gotta have banger after banger. Wait, Toad Circuit? Okay, so yeah, this doesn't make sense because a simple loop of a course like it was in 7 should be the first course like it was in 7, as starting a more complex track just to be followed by a really bare bones one is really jarring when you're actually playing the cups. And yet the course itself, I mean, it's fine, good for drifting, which, you know, I like, but besides that, the grass looks terrible, and the more cartoonish style compared to any other course in 8, which can combine the cartoony art style with a more realistic one, makes this feel out of place in 8. And yeah, it's fine, but not the most enjoyable. Next, Choco Mountain, and it's a Choco Mountain. Yeah, this one in Mario Kart 64 is fine, it's foggy, and it's a Choco Mountain with not too much depth. Like, it's fine, but there are more memorable tracks in Mario Kart 64, let's face it. But in Mario Kart 8, this is incredibly fun. The way the mountain actually looks now is really cool compared to Dark and Depressing McGee right here. The cave with crystals in the flying section are really cool, and the only thing kind of nerfed here is the part where the chocolate balls, I guess what they're called, fall down, because they're way more deadly in 64, while here, they're much more of a breeze, but besides that, this remake is amazing. Next, for the final one in this cup, we have the myth, we have the legend, Coconut Mall. And yeah, this is Coconut Mall in its purest form. With its classic music, its escalators, the places in the mall are fun additions. Just driving around for a mall is genuinely cool. Like, I don't even know how to describe the feeling, it's just so fun. And the flying sections where you pick which side to go is also great. The cars are kind of weird, like they didn't even hit people until they updated it when Wave 2 released, and unlike Wii and 7, people in the cars aren't Mii's, they're Shy Guys, which just kind of crumbles my heart, because look at these guys, what do you have against them, Nintendo?
Matt didn't kill your grandma, Nintendo, stop.
But this is Coconut Mall, as it should be. But it's not beaten by Mario Kart Wii's version, let's face it. Overall, a decent start of Wave 1, minus Toad Circuit. Again, it's okay. Now, the next cup, starting with another track, Tokyo Blur. Yeah, this one isn't as great as Paris Promenade, but it isn't bad either. I mean, the bridge part is actually pretty cool, the actual street parts aren't bad, and it repeats the same third lap as backwards part. This time, it's not as exciting or special. It's inoffensive, it's just not my thing. Next, Shroom Ridge, Mario Kart DS. It's pretty cool. It's a highway. It has a very nice feel to it with its theme. The actual racing isn't 100% best, and graphically, it's another one of those courses with that solid green grass and whatever color that dirt is spunk. But the tunnels and theming will really add to it. I find it's a nice little one to race on. It basically serves the same purpose as it did in DS. Next, Sky Gardens, also known as Diet Cloud Top Cruise. Yeah, it's just another sky track that's kind of boring. Like, it's just a loop with no substance. And yes, it's a track from Super Circuit, but there's no excuse. Because let me remind you, Cheeseland and Urban Road are also remakes of Super Circuit tracks. And they're transforming so much. But this is just so bland and boring, and it's just mediocre. Now, for the final track, and honestly the best overall, Ninja Hideaway. Where do I even start with this one? It is perfection. The dojo interior sections actually having a lot of depth. On which kind of path you take, like you either avoid these spikes or you take the easy route, take your pick. Death is an inevitability after all. And the more Japanese theming is done way better here than Tokyo Blur. Like, just look at this. Can you tell the company who made this is a multi-billion-dollar Japanese company? Can you? And the track is just very fun, with obstacles that are well placed and flying sessions that are also well placed. And yeah, a lot of excitement. This one is an easy S tier for me. So yeah, that was my one. Pretty decent start. For some reason, no anti-gravity mechanics throughout any of those tracks, which is weird, because that's Mario Kart 8's main new gimmick, and the graphics and the three iffy ones kind of bring it down a bit. Now, Wave 2. We start out with New York Minute, and I find this to be a pretty good one. It's just a night race through New York, and it's fine enough. It's different from all the other city tracks in a way, and there's a small bit more going on here, like it's park and a lot more buildings, because when they were making New York, they just hate nature and replaced it with like 10,000 buildings.
The American dream, hating wildlife.
And I like this interior section, I guess, because, I mean, I just explained everything that's good about this stage. I'm just kind of scrambling for stuff to say now. Now, what is that stage from Super Mario Kart called? SNES Mario Circuit 3. What kind of name is that? But yeah, regardless, it's a Super Mario Kart track. It's very simple and fine. By the way, it's simplicity kind of makes it fun. And yeah, it's not bad, because I think there's a lot of spots to drift. And yeah, I kind of like drifting, not Joy-Con drifting. Go frick off, Joy-Con drifting. Next, another Mario Kart 64 track. Kalimari Desert. And yeah, this is Kalimari Desert, mostly as we know it. A desert, a train. There's a bit more also going on, like some twists in this version. Like lap 2, you go on the train track and trying to avoid the train has been hard for me at sometimes because it's so close. It's almost like a freaking jump scare. And also this ramp is cool. Yeah, pretty good one overall. I normally hate deserts, but this one is an exception. Now, the big one, Waluigi Pinball. You know, the stage that was also in Mario Kart 7, but Waluigi himself was in the Mario Kart 7.
Yet the B made the cut?
Don't forget Wiggler.
But yeah, this one is a classic. It's a pinball course endorsed by Waluigi. What more could you possibly want? It's perfection. And its gameplay is very intriguing. That's mostly because of the pinball theming. Yes, this is in fact worth the hype. Now, the next cup. We start with Sydney Sprint, and oh my god, this music is amazing. Why is it so good? This came from Mario Kart Tour. Tour isn't supposed to have bangers. And yeah, the course itself, besides where they put the 2D crowd they normally put in the background of clothes, like, come on, this kind of looks weird. And some pictures are a little bit funky, but regardless, this is a good track, and it changes up the routes enough each lap to the point where it actually feels more fun to play than something like Tokyo Blur, for example. And the feeling of actually driving through the streets is much more engaging, and yeah, this is great. Somehow they made a city in Australia look enticing. I don't even know much about Australia, but I think people in it swear a lot, and they have kangaroos.
The other American dream, thinking your country is the best, even though you know nothing about the other country.
America is automatically disqualified from being the best country because it has Florida in it.
No, actually true. I tried stepping one foot in Florida, they yelled at me for existing.
Now, Snowland from Super Circuit, and my god, this one is so lovely. The ice isn't too annoying while adding a small bit of slippiness, which is balanced enough where it's not something I flip my chair over. And the penguins, come on. You can't hate on them if you try. They're just chilling, and I respect them. And yeah, this is a cozy one to play on. Mushroom Gorge. This one is a beloved one from Wii, and yeah, it's good. The mushrooms, as expected, add a lot to it. Like, I love bouncing on them. Doing tricks on them are really fun, especially this cave part. And the hell environment makes it look really nice. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a fun little place to race on. And I'm actually just realizing how many good courses were in Wii. Like, holy crap. Corona Mall and Funky Kong? Man, this game's a goldmine. Now, the final one is actually a completely new one. It's Sky High Sundae. It's so fun. Like, first of all, the tree theme is fun. And honestly, the first of the DLC track to use anti-gravity, which is weird, but I'm just glad it's here. The only time it's kind of weird is the staircase. Like, what the crap is happening here?
Nah, gravity.
And yeah, again, the theme is great. Heck, it starts out in a fridge. Like, how freaking cool is that? Also, checking out the ice cream and other treats is fun. And yeah, this one is really cool and a great way to end that wave 2. So yeah, that was wave 2. That was much better than wave 1. Like, yeah, wave 1 was pretty good, but this one is actually great. Like, most of the courses are consistently fun to play on. The graphics can be kind of bland, but the art style is more taken advantage here than, like, the cartoony art style can still look great in its own way. Just not as good as the base game courses, but by this point, we'll have to get used to it. So now with wave 3, we start with London Loop.
It sure is a loop in London.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this one actually looks pretty good graphically. Like, honestly, they've gotten way better since Wave 1. But there's just not much substance, no real additions that make it stand out. And, yeah, it's kind of fine, but it painfully blends in. Next, Boo Lake. And yeah, it's simple, but the simplicity makes it stand out a little. Because it's an SNES course, it's flat, so I can't knock it for being too flat. And it has an underwater section with anti-gravity, nice. And yeah, it's a good course that uses simplicity very well. Next, Rock Mountain from 7. Next, Rock Mountain from 7. And I actually didn't remember this from 7 because I kind of played through the courses in 7 and kind of forgot about some of them. But yeah, I like this one a decent amount. From the beginning cave portion to the general mountain theming to the uphill section where we're actually avoiding rocks, this is a nice one. Next, a fan favorite, Maple Treeway. As someone who was only experienced with this course before Mario Kart Booster Course Pass was Mario Kart 7, and I still remember that one a good deal, says that I already like this one a lot. Now it's an HT, and it looks so pretty. Like just the feeling going for a maple tree is elevated so much here. And yeah, it's still a classic. Everything about this course is great. And it has giant wigglers too. What's not to love? Next up, Berlin Byways.
Oh wow, another city track. Fun.
But actually, I kind of enjoy this one a lot more. Sure, it has the same street type areas, but I kind of like the little details they added, and there's a bit more substance. Like, when they actually have alternate routes, they feel a lot more dramatically different. Like, one to a subway, one to a tunnel, and one into a street with swamps trying to kill you. They're actually called womps, thank you. But yeah, I like this one a bit more. Second, Peach Gardens, which is a fun one. It's gardens, and it's in front of Peach Castle. It lives up to the name. What you see is what you get. But one difference from the DS version is that in the final hunt, you go backwards, which is fun. I like it. Overall, pretty good. Next, the Christmas themed or winter themed track, Merry Mountain. And yeah, this one's great with the half pipes, the alternate train track route, and the joyous feeling of driving through this place in general. Yeah, it's really fun and cool. Now the grand finale, Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7. And yeah, this one's amazing. It's already impressive looking on the 3DS, but now in HD? And the 3 sections of the track are equally as enjoyable in trying to play. Whether it be the beginning part where we're constantly going on these platforms, which are a godsend to drift on, to going the literal freaking ring of Saturn, then to anything moon. Jesus, this course is an exciting turn after exciting turn, automatic S tier, and it's the best one out of all of them, automatically. God bless America. So yeah, that was halfway through the Booster Course Pass. And the fact that we've been going on an upward trend with every wave means, with the course getting better and better, means that we're probably gonna keep getting some quality track. And I really can't wait to see what they have for Wave 4 and onward.
So yeah, lots of hope for Mario Kart 8 in the future. But that better be the end of Mario Kart 8, because if they keep supporting it past that, I'm gonna go insane! Bye.